To start a segmented project, you gotta draw the shape that you like, and then you gotta start breaking it down to its blocks. I drew half the picture, and then I go to a window to draw the other half so it's perfectly symmetrical, and from there I start doing the math. So how I do my segments is I make a table here with the number of ring, and then outer radius, inner radius, so then the width would be the minus that, and then I do the length. I calculate that by going 2 pi times my outer radius to give me the circumference, and then I divide it by the number of segments I want, in this case 24. For this segmented vase, I'm going to be using walnut scraps, which I had a bunch laying around left over, so I thought why not use them up and not have to spend any money. Since these are rough offcuts and scraps, I'm going to joint two sides quickly so I have a nice surface to ride against the fence on the table saw. I'm cutting the widths of the segments. Now I've switched and I'm cutting the height of the segment. Okay, so this is the sled I use to cut segments. It's the basic wedgie sled that you see on much other videos. Instead of buying the thing, I just made my own because I didn't want to wait for one to come or pay for it. It took a bit of fine tuning to get the angle right down so there's no gaps, but once you do that, you got your thing set and you're good to go. I put a line on two adjacent sides of the board, so when I go to assemble the segments, I can ensure that I alternate pieces, so if the table saw blade was tilted left or right, it'll account for any error. Okay, now that I got my segments cut, I do a quick dry fit, keeping the line on the top up and then alternating between a line on the inside and the line on the outside. Perfect. Now I'll move on to gluing them up. Alright, so once I have a ring all completed and glued up, I take one side and I sand it. Okay, so I already have 3 of them glued up here. I'm just going to show you how I glue up another one. They're all 9/16 of an inch right now. I want them 1/2 inch when I'm done. That leaves me a little bit of room when I sand the one face to glue it on. And then this side I true up on the lathe so it's running parallel. So first things first, I'm going to just true it up. Make sure it's flat. I don't think you can see that, but it's not at the moment. So I still got about 30 seconds to take off. So I just got a block here, MDF with 120 grit spray glued on here. And get this nice and flat. I'm at about 180 RPMs right now. Okay, for the pins on this disc, so I can mount the ring onto the rest of the segments, I just take a compass and so I measure how big the ring is. I divide that by 2. Okay, so my next ring goes on here. So I just finished putting new holes in for these pins, and you can see how it just fits in there and it can't move around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on and we'll see. Bring tailstock up, centered, and then I put a little bit of pressure on. I just align them by eye. The joint from the next one so that they're staggered. And that looks pretty good. I'll just put some more pressure on there. Okay, so I've let this sit for a couple hours. I'm going to go ahead and turn the first one and the one next to it. And then after that, I'll trim up the face again and put another one on. I'm going to go ahead and sand the inside of this, probably up to 320. It is the inside. It's only going to have a small opening at the top. You're never going to be able to feel it. Still on it nice, so start with 120. I've glued up all the rings now, and I've turned them each in the process. Now I have the whole thing glued up, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the final vase. It's important to note that I'm turning this in reverse. I'm doing this instead of turning from the other side of the lathe. For the finish, I just use beeswax and a walnut oil combination. I've switched the vase end for end and put it in a jam chuck so I can turn the foot off the vase. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just comment below.